Hi guys, it's Amy with Aim to Plan, and in this series of videos, what I'll be doing is walking you through the Getting Things Done methodology, which includes 5 components: capturing your thoughts, clarifying the tasks that you have to do, organizing your tasks, reflecting on the things that you need to do, and engaging with your tasks. Those 5 tasks are the heart and soul of the Getting Things Done method, and I'll be walking you through this series of how I personally implement getting things done in my Happy Planner. So if you're interested in seeing how I do that, stay tuned. So in this video, we're actually going to be talking about the second part of capturing stuff. In the previous video, I talked to you about basically capturing stuff that is in your head. That process is basically walking through a mind sweep using a trigger list or, just clearing out your brain with a brain dump, but walking through all the things that you might be holding in your mind that are tasks, ideas, and projects, and just putting that on paper. So that was the previous video. In this video, what we're going to be doing is talking about how you capture stuff from all of the information that you receive outside of yourself, all the external stuff that comes at you, and how can you capture those things. And so for me, one of the very first things that I had to consider when I started the Getting Things Done method was how many inboxes I would needed to set up for myself. And my personal recommendation is to try to use as few inboxes as possible. And so, in the course of doing this for myself and just kind of thinking about what I needed for life, I've basically narrowed it down to 3 inboxes. All right. So, the very first inbox that I use is what is in Getting Things Done parlance of an in tray. Now, I'll just be perfectly honest, I don't actually have a physical tray, like an actual tray that I use. It is really just a corner of my dining room table that I put all the stuff that I am getting and receiving, and I just pile it into one spot. So what I put into that physical, quote unquote, physical in tray are all the things that I get from the mailbox, any notes that I get from the toddler's daycare, any messages that my husband needs me to handle, like or any tasks that he gives to me. So those are all things that I put into this quote unquote physical in tray. Again, it's not an actual tray. I'll actually insert a photo here so you can see what it looks like. It's basically just a corner of my dining room table. Right now we're in a quarantine, and so most of the table is being used by my husband for his work notes. And then I just have this one dedicated corner where I put all of the stuff that I need to sort through. And so that's the system even before quarantine that I've been using, and I've just been doing the same thing. I just move his stuff and put my stuff there as I need to. Okay, so physical entry. The next inbox that I have, I've mentioned this inbox in my very first video with this series, and this is one that I feel like is very important, and of course you can't get away from email, but my email inbox, what I actually have for my email is I treat it like an inbox in the sense of I try not to leave things to do in the inbox for very long. And I'll talk you through what that looks like when I show you an example of me kind of going through the capturing process with my email. But this is where I will put stuff, or like things come to me, like people email me, and I will go through and try to capture the tasks from my email and move that into a different system. So email. And then lastly, the third and final inbox that I have are text messages. And so a lot of times my family and friends will email me, or not to email me, but text me with maybe not necessarily tasks that they want me to do, but there are things that, as we're in the middle of a conversation, things might come up as maybe future events that we want to plan, or there are certain ideas of things that we want to do, or there's something that it just gets jogged in my memory because we're in the middle of a conversation. So those text messages I do review, and I use my text messages as a kind of digital inbox. Now, with all of these inboxes, one of the things that I discourage you from doing, and in fact, you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to save things in your inbox. Okay, so in your physical in tray, in your email, and in your text messages, you're not supposed to just leave pending tasks. You are supposed to capture it, right? Like there are things coming in, so for email and text messages, those are automatically captured, right? Like you get a text or you get an email. Here, you're putting things into the tray, right? So things that come from the mailbox or documents that you receive. So you're putting these things in and you're capturing it, but you have to take this information and move it to the second step. You cannot leave things in email, leave things in text messages, and have things stored in this other system like email or text messages. Okay, and so this is the step I feel like that a lot of people really struggle with, and so let me talk to you about some barriers, some things that might hold you back from this step. The very first thing that I see come up is that you have not really thought about what your inboxes are. Okay, and so if you have not used getting things done system before, one of the things that might trip you up is how do you know what's an inbox and what is not? It's very easy. Basically, take a day or take a couple of days, take a week if you need to, and look at your like planning space. All right. If there are certain places where you store tasks, right? Things that you need to handle, things that you need to do, that is at this moment an inbox. Let me give you some examples. Your kitchen counter. When you get mail or you get a note from school, your kids give you something that you need to deal with later, and you just throw it on the kitchen counter. That is an inbox. You've made it an inbox. There are things in your purse. Maybe you have receipts in your purse. Maybe you have notes that come from your doctor. There are things that you went on an errand and you collected certain pieces of physical documents and you left them in your purse. Your purse is now an inbox. Okay, so again, in getting things done parlance, an inbox is a collection of stuff that's unorganized. Okay, so you have not thought about what to do with this collection of stuff, but there are stuff there. Okay, now I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, for me, my personal recommendation is to try to have as few inboxes, places where unorganized stuff gets like tossed, as possible. So for me, it's just a physical location and then 2 digital locations. One of the things that I tried to do was like convert my text messages to emails, and that was a hassle. So you can kind of play with this, and I tried to reduce it just to 2, and that didn't work. So now I have these 3, right? So this is not like a set in stone system. You can certainly change it up as you need to, as you have new responsibilities, as different things come up for you. It's certainly going to change, but I think it's very important for you to first and foremost acknowledge how many inboxes you have in your life. And again, inboxes are the collection of unorganized stuff that you have in your life. Okay, so it could be kitchen counter, it could be your purse, it could be a dining room table that's piled high with stuff, it could be a box that's hidden in your closet that is full of notes to yourself that you have not done anything with. It could be anything. Okay, so this collection of stuff are inboxes. Those are inboxes. Now, for me, once I identified these inboxes, that's all well and good, but I think that it's kind of hard to work with even just 3. In fact, I've tried to work with 3, and I think that it's easier for me to simplify it even down to 1. So what I have done, and I've done this for years, and when I stopped doing it, it actually stressed me out, right? And so I'm moving back to this system. So I have these 3 inboxes, and what I do is take information from this physical in tray, from email, and from text messages, and for all 3 of those, I will then translate or capture the tasks from these inboxes into my planner inbox. I've shown you my planner inbox in previous videos, but it looks like this. And so when I, for example, have a text message, and I'm in the middle of a conversation with my sister, and I think of an idea or have a task that comes up with my sister, it will be in my text messages, but as I go through and sort through my text messages, if I see that there's something that I want to do related to my sister, I will put it in here. So there's really only one place, one ultimate place where all of my tasks end up, and it's going to be in my planner inbox. And so I do have these inboxes. I mean, some of them I just can't get rid of, right? I can't get rid of text messages, I can't get rid of email, and I can't get rid of things coming to me in the mail, right? And so I have these as the places where I store things, and then I will, as soon as possible, almost immediately, if at all possible, move it into my planner inbox, and then I can just delete and or get rid of or trash the physical or digital reminder. Okay, so I'll show you this with my actual email. Let's take a look at my email. So this is my actual email inbox. What I've gotten here are a couple of emails, as you can see, and what I'm basically doing is, instead of like trying to do the tasks that are built in there, what I'm doing is making a decision on whether there is an actual task that's built into that email. Okay, and so this is kind of a blend of step one and step two. I'll just go ahead and say that because you're making a decision, or I'm making a decision on whether it's something I need to keep forever or not. And so what I actually do is basically go through and the very first thing I do is basically go through and delete any emails that I'm not going to read. So it's really simple. Most of the email that I receive is not, it's not necessarily spam. I mean, I did subscribe to it, but it is going to be something that I just get rid of altogether. The analogy here, or like the analog version of this, is all the junk mail that you receive in your mailbox, right? There's just certain things that you could just throw away right away. And so that is the first thing. And then what I do from that point is basically go through and read through each of the emails. And basically you can see here, I've got one thing, and that one thing gets saved, and I make a note of it and put it into my inbox, my planner inbox. Okay, so this is what I've got. It was the one email that had a built-in task, or like a task that was connected to it. And so this is increasing Google storage. What I will do is take this task, and I did this in the previous video with my Minesweep, but basically I'll take this task and I'll put it in here in my inbox to be sorted later. Again, I'm not doing that thing. I'm not going to like stop everything with my email and like try to find storage. I will just make a note that I need to do something related to that, and that's pretty much it. All right, I do the same thing with text messages, and if there are text messages that I want to save, I'll go ahead and screenshot those just for like future reference, and put that into like photos or like a separate folder. But if there are built-in tasks, if there are tasks related to it, I will write down the task and then delete those messages. And so my text messages right now are down to 0. I have 0 text messages that I've kept in my phone, right? And that helps with freeing up phone storage, as well as, it's just there are not multiple locations where I'm looking for things to try to think about the things that I need to do. There's only one place, right? It gets moved from text messages to my planner inbox, from my email to my planner inbox, from the physical in tray to my planner inbox, right? And so that's pretty much how I capture. It's I think fairly straightforward, but I think one of the things that really trips up people is having way too many places where they kind of store pieces of information, right? For me, there's really only one place, my planner inbox, and everything that crosses, I mean, it's not that I get rid of every single document, but everything that crosses through this system gets noted in my planner inbox in some way. So just to give you a physical in tray example, like a coupon. If there's a coupon that comes in the mail that I actually plan to use, I'm not just going to toss it. I will have it in my physical in tray. Then when I go to process it, which is again step 2, and we'll talk about that in future videos, but if I get this coupon, is going to be listed in my planner inbox. I will have a note in my inbox. And again, I'll do something with it later, but I'll have a note saying, coupon to this restaurant. And that will be a note to myself that I need to do something with that, to use it or to go to that restaurant or whatever. Okay. And so that's how I deal with external information. Again, trying to reduce it just to the key required inboxes that I need to have. And then from these 3 that I personally have, I reduce it to the one that's in my planner. And that's the basic master inbox that I will use for all 3 of these things. And that's pretty much it. So I hope this video was helpful for you. In the next little set of videos, we're going to be talking about clarifying, which is, I feel like, the bulk of the work. So if you can get through step 1 and step 2, which is capturing and clarifying, then you've got 80% of getting things done kind of captured. And so I hope you stick around to see those videos. And until the next video, bye.